I grew up in an extremely conservative and legalistic church. I was taught all of the do's and don'ts of a so-called Christian life. Don't drink, don't cuss, don't dance, worship this way, don't worship that way. We were taught that we were the only right ones. Everyone else was wrong, and it was our job to go out and convert them to the right way. Luckily, my parents helped give me a level head, helped keep me somewhat grounded and have an open mind. My mom was really good about it. My dad was more the stickler to the rules kind of guy. We had to take the Lord's Supper every single Sunday, didn't matter where we were. I've taken it on the road, in a hotel room, on the soccer field. It's all been done. As I look back on growing up in that environment, I was having to walk on eggshells every single time I went to church or I knew I was going to be around people from church. You know, I triple checked myself in the mirror to make sure I was dressed modest enough. I would question everything I was going to say to make sure I didn't offend anyone. I feel like my character was often judged by my appearance, and my faith was questionable if I didn't know a Bible verse or I didn't know the right answer to the question. When I finally left home and came to college, I continued to immerse myself in this environment because I thought it was right. I thought it was the only way to do things. But the more I was judged, the more I started to question things. I remember one time I actually got to help lead singing for a college devotional, and I've never been stared with more disapproving looks in my life, and I was asked not to do it again. I was losing my faith in Christianity and the church. And then things just got worse from there. My dad called me out of the blue one day and told me he was asking my mom for a divorce. I was in complete shock. I grew up believing that divorce wasn't an option. Marriage was a lifelong commitment, unless infidelity was involved. And sure enough, my dad had stepped out on my mom, and he was the one wanting the divorce. I didn't know where to go. I had nowhere to turn. My family was in shambles. The church didn't know how to handle the situation. It was almost like it was too real for them. Everything was kind of on the surface that they dealt with, and this was just too emotional for them to deal with. I kind of just was lost and stranded and was in a really dark place. God is amazing and can turn brokenness and ugly things into beautiful things. And he led me to all the right people in all the right places at the right time. I found a place where my God-given talent could be used in a ministry for his glory, which I didn't know was possible growing up. I found a group of people who are willing to give wholeheartedly of their time and their money to causes within the church, in the community, around the globe without question. They just give because they want to, not because they feel like they have to. I've been given the opportunity to go to Nicaragua twice now, and it's changed my life completely in two different ways. The first time, it was so shocking to see such a dark and broken place, but yet those children have such light and joy in their faces, and it just changed my perspective on life. And the first trip I took, I was still in a really broken place in my life, and I feel like that experience really catapulted me back into the light and really brought me closer to God. I just feel so blessed to be a part of his ministry, to be his hands and his feet, and that's really what it's about. There's this quote on the bus in Nicaragua. You take school buses everywhere in Nicaragua, and there's quotes and signatures all over the top. And there's this one quote that stuck with me ever since my first trip, and it's right above the exit of the door, so you get to see it every time you leave. And it says, "Life is waiting for the ones who lose control." And that's what you're supposed to do. It's not in your hands, it's God's hands. you lose control of your life so he can take over. It's not about following rules, doing this, not doing that. It's about allowing yourself to live in the freedom that God's given you and letting him shine through in every aspect of your life. It's living in his grace and his mercy so that you can radiate with his love.